Hello,
Hi.
hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, everyone. I'm Grace of Stella Maris Readings, and I'm here with the beautiful Kariselle, and she is joining us as we are celebrating Women's History Month. And of course, I love to bring to you women who are empowered, women who go after their dreams, who don't take no, who are focused and move forward. And I would like to introduce you to this beautiful young woman. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Kariselle. I grew up in New Jersey, moved all around the country, but now I'm back in New Jersey, kind of in the Philadelphia area, and I am an entertainer in many different formats.
Yes, yes. Um, you are a singer musician. Yes.
hmm
You're a content creator.
hmm
And more beautifully, not that it's any less or more, but you're also a comedian, which is my
Yeah.
favorite. I love women who have humor and are funny. So, my question to you is, what inspires you to keep evolving creatively and stepping into new spaces with such confidence?
So something I actually posted about kind of recently was a video of me saying, trying new things because life doesn't stop at 30. And I think that's kind of been my mindset in all different aspects of my life. I think if you ever want to try something, or if I ever want to try something, I love the arts. And sometimes I'll look at something and be like, wow, like I would love to try that. I wish I could do that. I kind of have this immediate, well, why can't you thing that goes off in my head. And then I'm like, okay, what would I have to do to kind of get there or kind of do that? And as somebody who loves the arts and all things entertainment, I think anytime I see something that is entertaining and something I think would be fun, it's just really important for me to kind of go after it, see if I like it first, and then, whether I'm good or bad at it, if it makes my heart happy, it's important that I just keep up with it and see where the journey leads me.
Beautiful. That's excellent. And you're saying a lot. You're saying so many things in the sense of you being able to just kind of flow with energy and kind of just follow your bliss. My other question to you is, how do you remain so authentic in the light of so many things, so many people trying to get into your fields? And because you're in many different, you have your feet are in many different fields. How do you stay authentic in the light of the expectations of people that they may have about you as you step in to present yourself? How do you stay authentic?
I think the biggest thing is, I guess, remembering my why. That's something that's actually talked about in pageantry a lot, is knowing your why. And I think it's something I've really brought into my everyday life. And it's okay, well, why are you doing this? Why do you love it? Why does it make your heart happy? And I think it's just that drive that kind of keeps me so grounded and reminds me. And, I often think back to the time when I didn't think I could even go to like an introductory kind of space for things that I'm now pursuing at a pretty decent level. And I think it's so important to always remember that and always kind of keep that beginner spirit alive and kind of feed her soul and, kind of show her how far you've come and kind of keeping her on that journey with you.
Yeah, beautiful. I just love how
Thanks.
you can just you flow. I love it. Energetically, you just flow. Being honestly yourself. I can see that. And how has comedy, because something I think comedy is something for me that is new to know that you
Mhm.
are in comedy. And how has comedy been able to be a place for you to show and express your creativity with comedy? How has that helped you express that?
Yeah, so I first was just a big comedy lover when I was probably in like high school. When you're a teenager, everything feels like the end of the world, or kids can be kind of mean. So it was kind of like my outlet to laugh, and I love to laugh. I love just anything silly. I'm a pretty goofy person, as poised as I might come off sometimes. And what was really cool for me is I got older, I started doing stand up a little bit and just making other people laugh and feeling like, hey, there was a time where I needed to laugh like this, or I needed to see stand up comedians. So to kind of take on that like stand up role for a small portion of my life and make other people laugh, I felt like it was so fulfilling. And some people might be like, oh, it's kind of like the silly thing, but it was so much more than that to me. And I know that sounds so like strange, like, oh, comedy is like this therapeutic thing for you. But there was just something about feeling like I made it to the other side, that I was the person needing to laugh. And now I get to kind of be that outlet for other people who were looking for some kind of happy escape in whatever they're going through.
And as a person, I noticed that you're very compassionate because I've read a bit about you about embracing the LGBTQ community plus community. And that just shows like somebody that has a depth to themselves and a love and a compassion. And I could see that you're very in tune. That to me is like a spiritual note that you're in tune with spirit. And how important is that to you to be visible? To how do you show your visibility and authenticity in your work? How does that relate? And do you work with that, uniting that into your work?
So I think visibility and representation is so important. And I think one of the reasons for that is you never know what your visibility is going to mean to somebody else. Growing up, I always knew my identity, and it was something I really struggled with. I always say I came in and out of the closet so many times because I was just so afraid, or I would listen to other people's opinions on what I was. And, it was easier to believe them than kind of advocate for myself, because that's a hard thing to do when you're younger. And, a good example of this is in pageantry. Pageantry is something I've always wanted to do. And, I never really saw pageant girls like me. I didn't even think, gay people would be accepted into pageantry. So as I got older and, I still didn't see that representation, I knew that was something that I really wanted to embody. If I was going to see it, I was going to make that representation, and I was going to, not only do that on the pageant level, but also advocating as to why that kind of representation is important, or why it's important, for people to see people who are like them. And, for me, it's being an LGBTQ plus person, but, representation across all fields is so important, because when we see people like us doing something, it makes us, remember, hey, if she can do it, I can do it, or she's doing that, I'm safe to do this. And I think that safety is so important, especially for younger people.
Thank you so much for that. Your parents must be very proud of you. Your family must be very
Thanks.
proud of you. I know that if you were my daughter, I'd be extremely proud of you to
Thank you.
embrace people and to embrace light and even yourself and to share that and give other people that sense of confidence and strength that they're not alone. So thank you for that. You
Thanks.
are just beautiful in all aspects, not just here, but I can feel it that you are, even in your heart, you're very
That's
beautiful.
very sweet. Thank you.
Now, what does empowerment to you? What does it look like to you at this stage in your career? What does empowerment look like to you?
I would have to say empowerment is feeding my heart. And I know that's a little like vague, but I think it really is. Empowerment is doing what makes me happy, no matter how hard it is, no matter how tired I am, no matter if people think that's what I should and shouldn't be doing, especially, now that I get in my 30s. There's different expectations. And, I think empowerment is when you are aligned with yourself, you know who you are, you know what feeds your soul, and the only opinion you're listening to is your own and is your spirit. And that's something I try to keep with me in my everyday life.
And that's beautiful because in reality, when I do, my lives and I'm talking about manifesting and creating and connecting with the divine, that's exactly what I tell people to do.
Mhm.
Follow your light. Just follow who you are, what makes you happy. Because in choosing to do that, you're actually choosing the divine light of God. And you're
Mhm.
here actually being who you're meant to be. Not instead of
Mhm.
struggling and fighting, no, that's not me, no, that doesn't fit the format. You're not meeting other people, you're meeting you and your God. And that is the way of success. I feel that when we follow that, there's no way up, but there's no way that you can't succeed because you're truly tapping into your pure energy, your pure power. That is empowerment when you feel like nothing in the world can get in between me and the light. So beautiful,
Definitely.
beautifully said. So thank you. Now, many women, not just many women who are interested in being in the industry, whether it's as a musician, whether it's creating content and becoming an influencer. You have a lot of young girls who are like, I want to be an influencer. I want to be in that. And this is interesting because I never thought of even that I wouldn't wanted to do that. It just kind of fell into that.
Yeah.
What kind of advice would you give them as they're stepping into these industries that can sometimes be consuming? They're sometimes a little bit tenuous. How do they step into that with that feeling of empowerment?
I think my biggest piece of advice for like every type of thing I've ever done to anybody who's asked me how to get started is you can't be afraid to embarrass yourself. And that is so much harder than I think people realize. I still struggle with it and I've embarrassed myself publicly so many times. But I think what people don't necessarily understand or put together right away, especially when you're starting something new, is when you're constantly afraid you're going to embarrass yourself, it shows and it also restricts you. Like a lot of people, I see it a lot in people who want to be content creators. They're like, oh, well, what if people from high school see me? Or what if this person sees me? Or what if people make fun of me? And it's that fear of embarrassment. And I think that when you're not afraid to embarrass yourself, one, it shows and more people can connect to you. I feel like when you have that guard of
Mm.
feel afraid of embarrassment, it's almost like this energetic shield that keeps people from coming in and feeling like they can get to know you. And especially as a creator, that's probably the most important thing is feeling connected to the people that are watching you. So a lot easier said than done. And I feel like a lot of people think it is not that hard, but it really is. And I don't think enough people prioritize how important it is to just learn how to just rejection therapy. I guess, like you just, the cringiest things you could ever imagine, just start doing it. And I think you'll start seeing a lot of progress in whatever it is. A good example of this is I'm a terrible dancer. I always have been. I'm a little bit better now because I've been taking a lot of lessons. But, I walked into my first dance class. I know I embarrassed myself. 30 people saw me. I kept showing up, kept embarrassing myself. But, now I'm at a place where I'm like, you know what? I'm comfortable. Am I the best dancer in the world? No, but I show up. I can learn the choreography. I can do it as well as my body will let me because it doesn't come naturally to me. And, if I was like, oh, well, all these people, I'm not this, I'm not that. This will be so embarrassing. I never would have seen that progress. And even though that's something that's so small, it's fulfilling to me. And I think anybody who wants to try to do anything has to just kind of learn how to tap into that mindset.
Getting to know yourself is very important. And I think
Mhm.
that those young years that, kids try to understand, experiment, do many different things, try different things. I think that's that part of growth, which really
Mhm.
empowers them to really get to know who they truly are in depth. And when they are in tune with that, that's where the authenticity comes in, being
Mhm.
authentic and not being afraid to really speak who they are, be who they are, and move in life and who they truly are. And that's what people I think find very spectacular is like, you're different. You're not like everybody else. I've never seen anybody like you. And everybody brings that special energy. And with you, there's a lot of strength in the way you communicate, in the way you are, you know, sharing your experience and your knowledge. And it shows like that you've really have grown and learned so much and are very empowered. You're in a beautiful place. And
Thank you.
I know that you're going to be successful because you got it together, as they say. Um,
Thanks.
so I know for a fact, as I'm going to ask you this, is I know that I'm going to hear wonderful stories, wonderful things about your projects. What's coming up next? What's in your view of plans to come into being?
So right now I'm actually really focused on figure skating. I started 6 months ago. Yeah. And it goes back to what I was saying. Like, I've always wanted to do it. Why don't I do it? And I feel like figure skating was one of those things that didn't really, it was like, oh, that would be cool. And then one day it was just like, oh, I really want to try this. I fell in love with it. And it's just kind of been all I've been doing lately. But it's just so much fun. And I've definitely had a lot of crazy wipeouts. A lot of bruises, no injuries. So it's definitely not the most graceful process, but my heart tells me that's where it wants to be, so I just follow it and I just deal with the falling.
Oh my God, Carousel, are you telling me that maybe there's a possibility because you were loving this that we you in the future Olympics?
I don't know. I don't know if my 30-year-old body is, okay with that. It was so funny because I was thinking, I was like, wow, like why don't they have girls in their 30s in the Olympics? And then after I do a session with my coach, I literally can't move for the rest of the day. And then some of the next morning, I'm like, oh, I get it. Our bodies are a little different
Yeah.
at this
I don't
stage.
know. You never know. You're full of surprises, so you never know. If I turn the TV on one day and I'm going to see you figures, well, for the United States, Canada, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. And as your journey continues to grow, and as you know, what is it that you would like to leave as a legacy of your creativity? What things would you like to leave behind? Not that you're going anywhere at this moment, but what is your focus on? What kind of legacy that you hope to leave for other women who look up to you and in as they're watching you take these beautiful different paths in each endeavor that you do?
I guess the legacy that I hope that I could leave is just kind of leave other women with she can do it, I can do it, and kind of, sharing my own story. With everything I've ever done that I've ever accomplished was the hardest journey, and I've been rejected so many times, and really nothing ever came very easy to me, and but that wasn't going to let me stop chasing what I knew was meant for me. And, something I really hope people see or are inspired by is that, if they think that it's too late for them, or they think that they can't do something because of this, or it's so hard, or the chances don't work in their favor. I really hope that any of my stories and pursuing all the different things that I have and finding those accomplishments is that, I know some people kind of are born lucky or they have this natural gift and they're just naturally talented. I'm convinced I was born with no natural talent. It is all skill. And some like I hate when I see people who I can see a light in their eyes when they talk about something they love and have always wanted to do, and they just say, well, I'm bad at that, or I can't do that. And I just hope I can at least help other women kind of get that little push they've been looking for to chase after it, because once you actually start going on that journey, you realize it's not that bad. It might be hard, but it's not impossible. And I really think that good things are worth fighting for, and it makes you that much more grateful when you actually get there, and it keeps you so much more grounded when you actually get there. And even being an LGBTQ plus individual, I really hope that other people who are struggling with their sexuality or their identity, who think that this is something that's going to affect their life or make them think that their lives can be any less, I hope they realize how wrong that is, and that they can be anyone they want to be, and that your identity, your sexuality, it's not something that is to be ashamed of, and it's not something you can't um it's not something that makes you not be able to love yourself. And I talk a little bit from personal experience because I had like those same thoughts.
Yeah.
And I just hope anyone who's struggling with that can see like, hey, like my sexuality, my identity, it's not going to stop me from living the life that I want to live. And just because how I identify or the people that I love is not what other people in society are doing doesn't mean it's not what's right for me. And I think it's so important for people to embrace exactly who they are and to not let who they are ever stop them or make them feel ashamed.
Beautiful. You are an amazing young
Thanks.
woman. And I'm going to just say this. When you said, well, I don't have any particular, like, everything's a skill, most of my things are skills. I don't see like naturally that you have this natural gift. I can say, yes, you do. You're very
Thank you.
much light. And when you speak and communicate, you could feel your heart. And that is beautiful to see, in someone else. And, as you're talking to somebody, to feel that bridge, that light. So thank you for sharing. And you are truly an inspiration to other women. And we celebrate you. I celebrate you in Women's History Month. And I'm so very, very happy to be able to connect with you and be able to talk and for you to share. Go ahead, Maddie.
Yes, and so on our broadcast channel, we did ask some of our viewers if they had any questions, and there are a few if you'd like to answer them.
Oh my gosh, fun. Yeah, I would love to.
So this is a fun first question. Somebody asked, what is a main character moment you've had recently?
Ooh, a main character moment. And it has to be recently. I gotta think on this.
Or maybe anytime.
Or anytime. Um, maybe. Oh, maybe. Okay, so a main character moment. I spent my 30th birthday at Coachella. My birthday's in December. And I still went to Coachella. There's nothing happening at Coachella in December, but I just like love Palm Springs. I love like the Coachella vibe. I love the outfits. So me and my friends went to Coachella during the week in December and made our own Coachella for my 30th birthday party.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Go out there and just kind of go with the flow. That's an awesome way to spend your birthday, and especially with a good friend. Amazing.
Yeah, it was so fun. It was four of us, and we were in like one of those like what's the word? Like typical Coachella houses. And we didn't leave the house the whole weekend or the whole week. We just stayed inside and we put on cute outfits, took some cute pictures, played some music, ate some birthday cake, and made our own little Coachella party with four people.
That sounds like fun. That sounds like fun.
Now I know the theme of my next birthday.
Oh, now you gave
Right, it's
her
so
ideas.
fun.
You gave her ideas.
The next
Okay.
question is, who is a woman in your life that has inspired you the most?
Ooh, I mean, there's a few because I have two sisters and my mom is awesome, but I'm gonna probably have to say my mom above all. You know, she's such a tough little cookie, but she's a big sweetheart. I don't know how she balances them both. And she's just very kind. And, you know, through the years, she's never let anybody dim her light, dim her kindness. And I think there's something very admirable about that is that, you know, no matter how tough life has ever gotten for her, no matter how stressed out she might be, she never loses that kindness. And I think that's something a lot of people can learn a lot from.
Beautiful. I love that one. That
Thanks.
mothers are acknowledged. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Next
The next
question.
question is, what keeps you grounded when life gets crazy? You are juggling so much and you make it
Yeah.
look so easy.
um, I really love scrolling TikTok. Like, you know, sometimes I'll be so overwhelmed. I'm like, I just need to scroll. I need to listen to story times about crazy things that other people are experiencing right now. I need to watch cats do tricks. I'm like, whatever will just shut my brain off is very helpful. But I do also enjoy, I drive a lot because I'm just kind of traveling everywhere all the time. And sometimes I love to just have the windows down, play some early 2000s music, and just let my head just turn off.
Oh, that sounds like it feels good. It feels good
Yeah, it's
because it's like
great.
no stress. I think that's a great stress reliever. I do that too.
It's the best.
And it just helps to make you feel, it's almost like you empty out. All the stress
Mhm.
just empties out and you feel fresh when you step out of that car. So that's good therapy.
Definitely.
That's good
Especially
therapy.
when it's like 70 degrees, you got a nice coffee, like, oh.
Next question.
Yes. The next one, it says, not really a question, but I just wanted to say thank you for always standing up for the LGBTQ plus community. It's really inspiring to see and so good to know there are people out there advocating for us during these scary times. Love from Kira from California.
Oh, that's so sweet.
That's
I
beautiful.
love that.
That's wonderful. And yeah, and I think that ignorance is fear is something that we need to learn to get over that. Ignorance
Hmm.
and fear, because God does not, I always tell, God does not create garbage. It
Hmm.
creates beauty. Every single person in their own individual way is beautiful and meant to be here with great purpose, and they are a gift to the world. And there's no need to be hanging up on anything because they're different. That's what makes us so amazing is that we're different. We should all love each other, support one another, be kind to one another, because not to get into the religious aspect of it, but that was Jesus's way. Well, he
It
was.
was.
It
Yeah.
wasn't, separating and no, you can't do this and no, he was not judgmental at all. It was a matter of fact, very open and trying to bring all of God's children together to love each other and accept each other and support one another. That would make our world so much more amazing. That would be heaven on earth. On earth.
100% agree with all of that.
So thank you again to be such a wonderful example of, working with your heart in your creativity, in your person and your growth and continuing to grow and expand, taking up skating. That's a testament to not feeling that you're limited, that there is no limit, that you just follow your heart. So thank you for that, sharing this moment with us. We're good with questions or any more?
I have a question.
Oh, now Maddie's got a question.
What is some advice you would have for your younger self?
I think some advice I would have for my younger self is to just not think so hard. I think that, especially knowing I was queer from a younger age, I was just very I felt like I was just very aware of everything. I didn't want to, be the odd person out. I didn't want to be weird. I didn't want to, I was just always thinking. And it was like I was trapped in this bubble of just making sure that I wasn't going to set anybody off and not liking me or being hateful towards me, that I forgot to just find me and, really learn who that is. And, I really feel like it wasn't until I fully accepted me that I was like, oh, this is who I am. This is what I like. And I always kind of say I got a little bit of a late start at life because, I just didn't have that confidence yet. So I would just tell her to just, don't think so hard. Anyone who's going to be mean to you or anybody who, won't accept you, theirs will come. And, you just look the other way, and says more about them than it does about you. You just keep doing your thing because the right people are going to surround themselves with you, and the people who are not so nice shouldn't be responsible for you not living your life to the fullest.
That's a powerful message. Thank you.
Thanks.
Now, I would like everybody to get to know you. Where can they find you online?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Kariselle, Kariselle. It's just my name. And yeah, those are the only ones I have. I know there's a lot of other ones, but that's where you can find me. That's where I've aged out of a couple.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing you and sharing this time with us and being an inspiration. I find you extremely beautiful inside and out. You're an encouragement to others to follow their dreams and never give up and continually grow and expand. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That's very sweet.
Thank you again. So this concludes our conversation, our connection. But for now, I hope to stay connected with you. Please let us know what's going on. I would love to have you again next year and to see what other things that you are trying out. Please.
Yeah, definitely.
Now I'm taking up skiing. I'm a dancer. I'm going to be in Dancing with the Stars. I can't wait to see what wonderful things that you are going to achieve next. So thank you. All right. So sending you lots of love and kisses. Say hello to your family. They've raised an amazing, beautiful woman. And I know that your sister's going to be amazing too.
Thank you. They are. They're pretty great.
All right. Well, thank you again, Kariselle. And hopefully we'll stay connected, and I'll see you soon.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.